sister tomorrow happy birthday.
I will. And we are live coming to you tonight right before Game 3 of the World Series. Before we go any further, I just want to play something really, really quick. Let's see here.
Further than any other team in franchise history.
That's pain. Seattle Mariners will be there again next year. Look out for them next year. Those guys got a taste, and they were hurting after losing that. You don't see that much in professional sports where people are paying millions of dollars. But those guys don't care about – they care about the money, but they care about winning as well. And if you're a Seattle fan, you got to take a little bit of like feelings for that and go, okay, we came so close. We've not been this close. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. And hopefully the owners just do a little bit to add a piece or two to get them there next year. And makes me want to root for them next year. How are you doing today, Dad?
Well, those players weren't only playing for themselves; they were playing for their entire city.
Exactly.
Because they'd never been. That's the only team in Major League Baseball that has not been to the World Series. So they were that. That was a big deal. It's not like the Yankees been there 3 million times.
Hey, Jeff, how you doing?
I mean, it's just. But it was a big deal. I mean, it was a huge deal for them. So tonight's game. Started about 8:15, I guess, 10 after 8. Is the third game of a one. The series is tied 1-1. The team that wins the third game and takes a 2-1 lead usually wins 70% of the time in Major League Baseball. That's in a 7-game series, but that's we'll see.
Yeah, I knew that Game 3 is the most pivotal game outside of Game 1. But it's also – so we have Max Scherzer going against Tyler Glasnow tonight too, just to –
Well, Scherzer, if he can pitch like he did in his last game, he'll be fine. Glasnow he'll go 5-6 innings. That's it.
Yeah, and guys at work are like, the Blue Jays are not going to win another game. I was like, that's one game against Yamamoto, probably the best pitcher right now on earth for what he's got it. The guy, this is what they paid for. He showed up at the right time, and not only does he pitch complete games, he cleans up the dugout afterwards.
And he's going to pitch Game 6.
Yes. So, but the Blue Jays proved in the first game, you get to the Dodgers, what you've been saying, the Dodgers bullpen is not as strong as the Blue Jays. So it's all about getting to, and they got to Snell early. They should have scored in that first inning. I'm sitting here going, they didn't score with a man on third and one out. And of course, the guy strikes out with a man on first and third. And then the Dodgers do score in the bottom, the top of the second. And I was like, that's the difference between the two teams. And I was just, what you always say, championship teams know how to win. And
they know how to win.
They but then I went to bed and they scored 9 runs. So.
Well, I mean, It's the hitting of the Toronto Blue Jays against the starting pitching for the Dodgers. Now, I'm wearing my Virginia stuff because I'm going to keep wearing Virginia stuff till they lose.
That's right.
But
We snuck one this
I
week.
can put my hat on my head and I'm still bald.
Right.
The Dodgers can put starting pitchers in the bullpen. They can put an assistant bench coach, the first base coach, and the catching coach in the bullpen. They can even get a busboy from Applebee's and put him in the bullpen. But that doesn't mean the bullpen's any good.
Right.
It's still bald. So if the Dodgers, unless they have a metamorphosis of these pitchers, they're in trouble, I think. Personally, I think the bats from Toronto have an advantage because the starting pitching for the Dodgers, except for Yamamoto, can't go the whole. They're not going to pitch complete games. When was the last time Glasnow pitched a complete game? When? Somebody tell me. Anybody? Tell me.
Yeah, he's gonna get six innings probably.
If he gets 6 innings, it's going to be good. And then they got 3 innings. They got to get.
But
Let's just say that Sasaki comes in the last inning and he can do well. But there's 2. That's the 7th and 8th inning they got to get through.
Well, I can tell you that the telling story in game 1 was Snell first inning, 26 pitches. He's only pitched 25 pitches once in an inning in his career. So that's what the Blue Jays do. They foul you off. They're going to put a lot of Donnie baseball. That's Mattingly coaching these guys, and they're accepting him. And I love it. I'm really. I mean, it's like watching baseball again. They're putting the ball in play. Yamamoto is just a different kind of beast, And
Yamamoto.
I don't know when Otani's going to pitch again. I guess tomorrow night. But
that was Otani will pitch tomorrow night. Yamamoto. That was the first complete game in the World Series since 2015 when Johnny Cueto did it for Kansas City when they won the World Series. And they had one of the best bullpens ever that year.
Right.
But the last time Yamamoto is the first one since Kurt Schilling in 2001, I believe, to pitch 2 complete games in a postseason. So it's their rarity.
How many of them clean the dugout afterwards?
He probably sells popcorn too.
No.
He's not pitching tonight, so he's probably selling popcorn.
Right. And they showed him, like, everybody's going nuts. He just walks over calmly to his notebook between innings and filling out his notebook and, not buying into anything. He just calm.
Well, if you watch him, he doesn't show a whole lot of emotion one way or the other.
Right.
He was upset when he gave up that 1 run. You could tell he was upset.
Mm-hmm.
But he threw 23 pitches in the first inning and only threw about 80 the rest of the game.
Right.
And he struck out 8. Well, he struck out 3 in the 8th inning. I mean, he wasn't striking people out. He's pitching to contact.
Right.
And he was getting weak ground balls and pop-ups, fly balls. I mean, it was old-fashioned baseball.
Maddox right there. That's,
And the other thing, the Toronto Blue Jays are hitting, I think it's 285 this postseason. Everybody else is hitting 201. If you add up all the rest of the teams, going all the way back to when they first started with Cincinnati and, Boston and they're hitting like 201 or 203. And up until Yamamoto, they were hitting 300. They were hitting 315, but now it's 280 something because they didn't get but like 2 hits that game, but 4 hits or something. But it was outstanding. One other thing about Cal Raleigh, he was screaming because he was either in pain from catching all those games or he was in pain because they lost. The Sporting News has been giving out an award for the most valuable player since 1936, and it's voted on by the other players in Major League Baseball. It's not by the sports writers or general managers, owners. It's by your peers. And his peers, Cal Raleigh, his peers voted him the player of the year in all of Major League Baseball, ahead of Judge, ahead of Otani. So, I mean, that tells you the rest of the players, how much the rest of the players respect
Well,
him.
I think he should be I think he should win it in front of Judge this year in the American League.
I do too.
But Otani's going to have that thing in the National League until he doesn't play, I think. So he's just going to walk off the field. They should let him walk off the field on his last day and walk directly into Cooperstown. Don't have to wait.
I mean, and what he did that night was just unbelievable. But I remember, and I'm not a Yankee fan by any stretch of the imagination, but I remember when Reggie Jackson hit the 3 home runs in that World Series game against the Dodgers. He hit it off of 3 different pitches, and it was on the first pitch off
Right.
3 different pitchers, and that's just unheard of too. But there's no way he didn't pitch, so he's
Right.
not Ohtani.
Yeah, Otani is a special. Yamamoto's proven that he's a special cat. These Japanese players that are coming over really, it's not just 1 or 2 now. We're getting 1 or 2 a year.
Now there's about 2 or 3 coming over next year.
Yeah, so they're really. They're starting to now, like the players, because from my understanding, there's one player that's don't want to play at all in Japan Nippon League or whatever it's called. He don't want to play at all. He wants to go straight to the majors. I don't know if that's gonna. I don't know how that works at all for international play.
Well, one of them is a first baseman, and the other one is a first baseman / third baseman. So,
I'm sure they both pitch too, or
well, if I were the Mets, because the Mets could stand a third baseman, and if they lose Alonso, they're going to need a first baseman too. We had some managers sign. Kurt Suzuki, who won. He was the catcher for the Nationals in 2019 when they won the World Series. So he has a World Series ring, and he is going to manage the Angels, and he was a former catcher with 5 different teams, including the Angels, and he was a special assistant to the general manager this last year. So he was in the organization, and he knows a lot. He got a 1-year deal, which everybody found. Oh, everybody's so confused why I got a 1-year deal. The reason he probably got a 1-year deal, and I'm just speculating, the Major League, the contract is up between the players and the teams this year in February.
After this year, it's probably.
So they have 1 more year to play, and that's 2026. So that's his 1-year contract. They may not play in 2027. There may be a lockout or a strike because of the salary cap issue. And if they do that,
know your minor league, because that's all the baseball you're going to have.
that might be why they gave him a 1-year contract, because they figured they might not have a 2-year.
Yeah.
So
and we'll talk more about that.
They can see how he does and extend it.
That is definitely going to be an off-season topic for us, probably ongoing this year.
And the San Francisco Giants did sign the 47-year-old coach from Tennessee, the baseball coach from Tennessee, Tony Vitello.
I don't have a problem with that. At least he has baseball management.
He's the first college coach to be signed without having any other experience. They've been college coaches that have come back and been given coaching positions in the majors, and then later on getting a managerial position. He's the first one to go right.
There's a lot of baseball players that are managing college baseball teams.
Right. And anyway, I've told you, I've heard this guy. He knows a lot about the game.
Mm-hmm.
47 years old. He's not the oldest guy in the world. And he's going to manage the San Francisco Giants. Buster Posey, he's got a different way of looking at things. Francisco. Let's see. The Orioles signed Craig Albornoz as a manager. He was the associate manager for 2 years in Cleveland. I didn't know there was such a thing.
I don't even know what that is. Well,
I thought it was a bench coach.
is that adjacent to? Or?
And that's what they called him, associate. He was associate manager for the Guardians. And he turns 43 Thursday, so he's not an old guy either. Oh, my goodness. Oh, and that thing about Cal Raleigh winning the Player of the Year for his peers for the 1936 Sporting News Award. He's the third Mariner to win it. Alex Rodriguez won it in 1996 and Ken Griffey Jr. in 1997. They won it in back-to-back years. It was also the Roberto Clemente Award went to Mookie Betts. They announced that today. And he said, out of all the awards he's ever gotten, that's really special. That's the same thing that Kershaw said.
Yeah,
He talked about all the things he accomplished, and he said, "Well, one of my special awards was Roberto Clemente. That's for what you do out in the community."
Yeah, and a lot of that is not publicized. Most of the time, those players want to keep that stuff pretty close to the vest because they don't want to be publicized for doing good. You know what I'm saying? You want to be I guess they want to, having an acknowledgement is good, but they don't want to throw it in people's face.
They don't want to make it a big deal.
Right. Yeah.
You want
to make it even more special.
The coach for the Denver Broncos, he and his wife donated a big playground area to a hospital, children's hospital in the Denver area, where the kids can go outside and play.
But that's the Hawkeyes coach and wife put on the top floor of the children's house, the cancer hospital in Iowa, so they could see the football field. That's to wave at them after the first.
Yes, yeah, and so but he didn't want it publicized. They mentioned it on the game yesterday.
From my understanding, Trout does a lot of stuff. I've heard stories of Trout, and he tries to keep it quiet.
Well, the other thing is too, a lot of times you hear about the bad stuff that happens, like the gambling stuff in the NBA, and you hear about that, but you don't hear about all the guys in the NBA doing good stuff.
Well, I think I'm ready to hear how many other, because it sounds like it's going to be a lot of people. And speaking of gambling, it looks like Class A will never see a Major League American baseball field again.
Well, the other thing is too, there was a running back, ex-running back. He's retired now from the National Football League. He got caught up in that too, with that poker stuff. Oh, and the Mets, Francisco Lindor, he had right elbow debridement surgery, whatever that is. I guess he's going to have to take debribes from his left elbow now, because
That's right.
I never heard of that. But he had surgery on his elbow, and they said he'll be fine by spring training. And I also heard today that it looks like Wheeler is doing well after his surgery for the deep vein thrombosis for his blood clots. And hopefully he might not be back for the beginning of the year next year, but they hope he'll be back during the year sometime. I know your stepmom went through all that. I know all about that.
That's a big. Baseball needs. Hey, what's going on? Nice to see you tonight. I know, just as a baseball fan, I like to see him on the field. I can tell you that. Him being one of the players that the Mets let walk away, he's one of those guys I like to see do well, just to put it back in their face. So,
well, the other thing is too, even the teams I don't care for. I don't care for. I want to see I don't want to see their players hurt. I want to see their play. I want to see the best players.
Yeah.
I mean,
you and
I work with a manager at BI Chemical, and he was always hoping that whenever the Washington football team played somebody, that their best players would get hurt, so Washington would win the game. And I said, that's crazy. I want to see the best players play. If you can't beat the best players on the other team, you don't deserve to win.
Right.
That's just me. But that's about all I got. I mean, the big thing is the World Series.
Yeah.
And then they'll have to hire the rest of the managers, and then they'll have all the free agency stuff. That's going to go crazy. So we got a lot of stuff coming up.
Yeah,
But
and it's free agency. Right now, like you said, Blue Jays hitters against Dodgers bullpen. See what Glasnow can do tonight. How many games you suspecting this to go to?
7.
I'm thinking 6, but 7, because I really do think Toronto is going to win at least 1 in LA, if not 2.
I think Toronto will win 1 in LA and then go back and win the 6th game and they're finally going to get to Yamamoto and win that game, and then it's going to come to the 7th game. And I'm interested to see who pitches, because I mean they don't do it like they used to, where the ace pitch the 1st, 4th, and 7th. They don't do that.
Right. Yeah, me and you talked about that before, and I think they had an extra day off in there or something. Because I mean, it wasn't that long ago. I mean, Kurt Schilling and Randy Johnson come to mind. Maddox would throw 3 games. You would see a lot of that just 10 years ago.
Well, you got to remember, son, they didn't have 4 days rest. In the old days,
they've also added, and I've thought about this too. So I think by adding the more games on the front side of the playoffs, they want to get they still want the season over with by the end of October. So I think you don't have as many days off. They used to play 2 off 1, you know what I'm saying? And, have an extra travel day in there somewhere, but they just don't do that. I was shocked that it was a 4-day break between game 7 and the first game to begin with. That shocked me. I was happy because I want to see everybody rested. I want to see the best. I want to see both teams set their lineups and be ready to play day 1, not a team that had a week off and another team had to catch a flight to get to wherever. So that was nice, but it was almost like, as a baseball fan, like I was ready for him to play. Like, let's go. But that I do like that. And
well, see, when I was a kid, let's just say let's just say 1955. That's the only time Brooklyn ever beat the Yankees for the World and won the World Series. The only time Brooklyn ever won it, and that was my team, the Brooklyn Dodgers. And then they were in Brooklyn again in 56, and then in 57 they went to LA. Excuse me. But anyway, Whitey Ford pitched 1st to 4th in the 7th game. Carl Erskine pitched the 1st to 4th in the 7th game, I believe. He didn't pitch the 7th game. Johnny Padres did, and Johnny Padres pitched a 2-hitter, and they won the
right.
Because somebody asked me about Koufax, and I said, well, Koufax was just a kid then, and he threw 100 miles an hour but didn't know where the ball was going. He didn't get established till the late 50s, early 60s. That's when he really got established. But they had Don Newcomb at the end of his career, and Carl Erskine and Johnny Padres, Sal DeBarber Magley, and the Yankees had their own pitchers, and Whitey Ford was their ace. So,
I was going to say Whitey Ford, yeah.
Whitey Ford was their ace. So, I mean, but they pitched 1st, 4th, and 7th game. And a lot of times they said the big problem for the Dodgers was they didn't have a third pitcher. It could win that third one game. So
now, but before we go tonight, this is something World Series talk. In your lifetime, what has been the greatest World Series that you can remember?
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
I like to throw you a curveball every once in a while.
Well, I mean, you're asking 70 years of World Series.
That's right.
And I mean, I've seen some great ones. I mean, it's more like, if I had to pick one World Series, it would be the 55. My Brooklyn Dodgers beat the Yankees and won the World Series.
I wanted to make sure you brought it up. I was like,
that was it. I mean, look, I was 9. but that was a big deal. I was in the 4th grade. That was a big deal.
Right.
That I was so happy I didn't know what to do. I got
Right.
home in time to see the last 2 innings and watch Padres win.
My 86. I know there's better World Series than that, but 86, it's hard to match the Braves in Minnesota, the Jack Morris and that game. But
There were some other games.
but
The
the 86 Mets is the greatest World Series for me.
some of the individual games within the World Series.
Right.
The Carlton Fisk home run.
Right.
I was working. And I was working at Brown and Williamson, working graveyard shift. And I ran down the steps. I ran down the steps, and the guard at the door had it. I was running back and forth between that and the 3rd floor where I worked because everybody wanted me to go down and get the score. So I bring the score back up to the floor. Everybody wanted to know the score, and he was listening to it on the radio, and I heard him hit that home run, and ran back up and told everybody. But
go ahead.
That was a big one. And the other one I liked, the other World Series I kind of got a kick out of, was when the California Angels had the rally monkey.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. And then I was watching the game when I can't believe that call about the home run that the Dodgers, when they won the World Series, the Dodgers won that year. I like when teams you didn't expect to win. I enjoyed watching the Big Red Machine in the 70s. I enjoyed watching them.
And that Nationals, how they won their World Series.
Well, see, the National, that would be my second pick because my National. And then in '95, when the Atlanta Braves, these were teams I really rooted for, and they finally won a World Series. But the 1955 Brooklyn Dodgers, if I had to pick one, I'd pick that one. But I've seen a lot of World Series, and I've seen a lot of ball games in the World Series.
It was funny you're bringing up when you were at work, because I remember as a youngster, you announcing football games. And at Dinwiddie, Petersburg versus Dinwiddie. Dinwiddie had the 2 or the 3 stacker, right? You were at the top.
Yeah.
Second floor was the announcing for the field, and they had a TV down there, and it was Yankees Dodgers World Series
when Reggie Jackson hit the home run.
Yeah, you kept having me run up and down the steps to give you what was going on. I was like 10.
Yeah, you went to the game with us, me and Ron. Yeah, for the audience who might think I worked at a cigarette manufacturing factory for years. And 5 years, from 1978 through 1982, I broadcast high school football and basketball games for Petersburg High School. I did 1 year of Virginia State College basketball, and I had a Saturday morning call-in show from Saturday to April from 9 to 12. So I did a little bit of radio, and then I had to get a real job. And then while I was working that job, I got that extra job, and I broadcast high school football, and I had the opportunity to broadcast a high school football state championship game when Petersburg beat Patrick Henry of Roanoke, and that was in 1978. So I
wasn't allowed to go to that game. I got to listen to it on the radio.
No, you couldn't go to that one. No, that was in Richmond over at City Stadium. Yeah. But anyway, I had you running up down the stairs because I couldn't run up and down the stairs. I was doing a ball game.
Yes,
that was that World Series, though.
I sat down there watching and kept running up and down the stairs to tell you.
Yeah, the public address announcers. I was in the top doing the play-by-play. Ron Davis was sitting there doing the color commentary. I was doing the play-by-play, and they were downstairs. They had a TV down there where the public address announcer was announcing the different. Yep, I can remember that. Yeah,
that was when you bringing up like things like that. Like, those sporting events. It's just it just brings back great.
Well, think about this. When I was a kid, I didn't really know what the uniforms looked like,
right?
Unless I got baseball cards, or they showed, I went to a movie or something and they showed highlights of the movie and they showed in color, but most of the time it was black and white. So all the games on television were black and white. I didn't know what the uniforms looked like.
Right.
You know, I knew what the colors were, but of course, I got baseball cards from the time I can remember. I can't remember when I didn't get baseball cards when
Well,
I was a kid.
I remember too. You got either the Sporting News or Baseball Digest as a young person, because I would find those at Granny Joe's house a lot when I was.
Well,
growing up.
I had when I started getting. My dad saved up, gave me extra money so I could get Sports Illustrated when I was about 12 years old.
Okay.
And then when I was in high school, I started getting the Baseball Digest, and I got that for
And
years.
you got me to Baseball Digest. I mean, when I was young, I loved that Baseball Digest.
But and I got Sporting News. I did the Sporting News for a while too. But it was because I like all sports. The NBA I don't watch. I've watched a little of it, but I don't watch much of it. It just it's college basketball, college football, baseball, college baseball, women's sports. I love watching. I watched a women's volleyball game the other last Thursday because there was nothing else on in the afternoon. I watched a replay of a college women's volleyball game. But it was Kirk Gibson. The Kirk Gibson home run. That's exactly what we're talking about. And I couldn't remember his name right off the top of my head. That's another thing when you get old, you can't remember. I'm lucky I know how to get to the door to get out of the room. But Kirk Gibson, that was that home run. I can't believe what I just saw.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds like a yogiism.
Yeah. Well, do you have one for us tonight?
Oh, yeah, yogiism tonight. Before we go, Johnny Bench broke his Yogi Berra's home run record for catchers. And he sent him this telegram. He sent Johnny Bench this telegram. Congratulations. I knew the record would stand until it was broken.
That's
Makes
awesome.
sense to me.
Yeah. Well, we're going to leave you with that. Enjoy Game 3. Doc, good luck to you. I'm rooting for you and your Toronto Blue Jays. And also let me know if you're going to the
I
national.
kind of hope Toronto wins it all.
I really do. I really, give me another Carter, another great ending to Joe Carter. See a Philippines collection. I would love another Joe Carter type of deal. That'd be awesome. So until next time, like, share, tell a friend. Thank you for all that watch and participate. Leave a message down below. All season coming up. I'm going to do some digging. I already have a couple of good topics for us for this all season. Let me know what y'all want to hear or talk about or make fun of me and Dad about. Any of that. So until next time, see ya.